Hi friends, it's Valerie. Welcome back to another week's What's for Dinner. I'd love if you'd hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future What's for Dinner videos. Also, feel free to go over to Instagram and follow me there. My username over there is Life with Valerie Rose. I'll go and leave a link in the description below. Now, let's get started on those food videos. On this night, we're having salmon, some wild rice, and a side salad. Starting off by preparing the mixture that's going to go on top of the salmon. So I'm just taking 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and I'm just using the bottled kind because I didn't have any fresh lemons on hand. Then I'm adding in 2 teaspoons of dried parsley. You can use fresh parsley as well. If you are, just go ahead and use 2 tablespoons instead of teaspoons. You want to increase that amount. Then I'm just going to go ahead and press some garlic in there. I'm using about 3 cloves. Again, adjust this to your liking. You can always add more or less garlic. Also, I'm looking to get a new garlic press. I feel like my garlic always kind of squeezes out of the sides on top and I have to always push it back in. So if any of you have any recommendations, I would really appreciate if you just put what they are in the comments down below. I don't know if that's typical of all garlic presses, but I'm hoping to find something better. Now I'm just adding in 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then I'm going to add in 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper. As well as about 1/2 tablespoon of spicy brown mustard. You don't taste the mustard in this that much, but it does add some flavor. You can also use Dijon mustard or omit the mustard altogether if you really don't feel like it's something you can handle if you don't like mustard. My boyfriend doesn't like mustard, but he couldn't tell that there was any mustard in this. Next, I'm just preparing about 1 pound to 1.5 pounds of salmon. Mine was previously frozen. I had frozen it, so I defrosted that, and I'm just cutting that up into smaller fillets, and I'm taking a paper towel to remove the excess moisture, and then I'm just placing that into my air fryer basket. Because I'm using an air fryer basket instead of an oven dish, because I'm not baking this in the oven, you can't put the mixture on the bottom, obviously, because it will fall through the bottom of the basket. It will just drip down. There'd be no point. But if I made this in the oven, I think I'd like to double the mixture and put some on the bottom of the salmon as well as the top. But next time if I make this just in the air fryer, which it was perfect in the air fryer, so I want to continue the air fryer, I think I would season the bottoms with some type of seasoning, either just salt and pepper, some lemon pepper, something like that, just for a little extra flavor. I really did like that mixture, and it was very flavorful. So here I'm just evenly basting that mixture across all of my salmon fillets. If you are baking these in the oven, I will go ahead and leave the temperature and the baking time in the description box below. I went ahead and preheated my air fryer to 450 degrees, and I'm baking that for 6 minutes. It wasn't quite enough time for my fillets to reach the internal temperature of 145 degrees, so I did have to add an additional 2 to 3 minutes on top of that, so for a total of about 9 to 10 minutes. Now I'm just making some frozen rice that you can find at like Whole Foods and Sprouts. The brand is Grain Trust. I'll go ahead and link them in the description box below. This one's just the jasmine rice. And then the one you see that I have on my plate for the photo of this is the ancient grain mix. I love how convenient these bags of rice are and that we could each have the flavor that we both wanted. Here's the salmon out of the air fryer. It was so soft on the inside, but absolutely like nice and crispy right on the outside. Salmon is one of our favorite seafoods, so this was definitely a meal that we were loving. And now I don't think I can make salmon any other way but in the air fryer. It was so perfect. And I spied my little sissy girl cat right there. On this night for dinner, we are having ground beef stroganoff. I'm starting off by slicing up around 12 ounces of fresh white mushrooms. You can use already sliced mushrooms to save yourself an extra step. I have these because they were just part of another recipe as well. Then I am pressing around 4 cloves of garlic, and you can use minced garlic or omit the garlic if you don't like any. You could always add more, whatever you like for your family. I went ahead and heated a large pot over medium-high heat, and I'm adding about a tablespoon of olive oil and 1 tablespoon of butter, and I'm just gonna let that melt. Then I am adding in my minced up garlic and my mushrooms, and I'm gonna go ahead and just let those saute, stirring them occasionally for about 6 to 7 minutes. Then I went ahead and brought a large pot of salted water to a boil, and I'm adding my egg noodles to that. This was a 16-ounce bag of egg noodles. Just go ahead and cook to your package directions. While those cook, I'm just finishing up making my sauce. I'm transferring those cooked mushrooms over to a separate bowl so I can reuse this pan to continue cooking the sauce. I'm going to add 1 pound of ground beef, and I'm just breaking that up with my meat chopper, and then I'm going to let that continue to cook. I only have 1 large burner, so once my noodles were done, I just went ahead and moved my pan over to that large burner. And now I'm going to add the seasonings. I'm adding a half a teaspoon each of garlic powder and onion powder, as well as 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. And I'm just giving that a quick mix. I'm using lean ground beef, so I didn't drain the grease from mine, but I would recommend it. Then I'm taking 3 tablespoons of flour and sprinkling that over the meat, and you're going to continuously stir that for about a minute. Next, you'll add in 2 cups of beef broth and stir to combine. You're going to go ahead and bring that to a boil, and then you're going to reduce it to simmer for about 5 minutes until it thickens. While that was cooking, I just went ahead and popped some garlic bread into the oven. My gravy didn't thicken as much as I would have liked it to, so I would either add some additional thyme or make a little cornstarch slurry and add it to thicken it up. I was running out of time, I had somewhere to be, so I just had to serve it how it was. Once that sauce has thickened up, we will go ahead and add in 1 cup of sour cream and your cooked mushrooms, and you're going to go ahead and just stir that all to combine it. Add some salt and pepper to taste, and go ahead and cook that for a few minutes. I'm I'm going to be serving this beef stroganoff over the egg noodles that I cooked. You can also add your noodles to the pot and just combine it all together. For reheating though, it doesn't come out as good if it's all mixed together. It does reheat better if you reheat them separately. This meal was really tasty, but I would prefer, like I said, to have had a thicker sauce. The thinner sauce it wasn't the texture that I was desiring. For this last meal, we are having smothered cheesy sour cream chicken. You're going to start off by making your desired amount of rice and the method that you choose. I'm using my Instant Pot today, and I'm using 2 cups of white rice. I choose to rinse my rice in my pot for less mess. You could just pour off the excess water. Then I'm going to go ahead and add my 2 cups of water to my pan for my 2 cups of rice, because I do a rice to water equal ratios. And I'm adding just 2 spoons of butter and some salt to that rice for extra flavor, and the butter also helps to keep the rice fluffy and separated. And I'm just gonna go ahead and set my pressure cooker to the rice function and make sure that it's on sealing. To make your cheese mixture, you will start off with a 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese, and to that you will add 1 cup of sour cream, then 1 teaspoon each of dried oregano, basil, and garlic powder. Then you'll add in 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and a 1/2 teaspoon each of salt and black pepper. Then you will just stir that all together very well to combine your cheese mixture. Next, you will take 4 thin sliced chicken breasts. I had 2 thick chicken breasts, and I'm just choosing to pound them out to make them thinner. Next, I just placed a small amount of olive oil on the bottom of my 9x13 baking dish. Now I'm taking my chicken breast and I'm placing it on that olive oil and using the chicken to spread the oil on the bottom of the pan better. Then I'm going to slice up some mozzarella cheese. I didn't have any already sliced, I just had a block, so I'm cutting some thin slices from that. You can use thin slices enough to cover your chicken breasts, or even shredded if that's what you have. Then you will just dump your cheese mixture evenly on top of your chicken breasts and spread that out across them. Lastly, you will take your remaining 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese and sprinkle that evenly on top of your chicken breasts. For the last few minutes of bake time, I turned my oven to broil to make that cheese nice and bubbly and browned on top. Look at how amazing that looks. I also microwaved some of this steam in the bag broccoli from Aldi. Okay, y'all, if you're gonna try any of these 3 recipes, I would say this one is the one to go with, like, if you're only gonna do one. It was so good, and I took some of the extra cheese that actually was left in the bottom of the baking dish after removing the chicken, and I placed that on top of my rice. Oh, that cheesy rice was amazing. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss next week's What's for Dinner.